now we're looking at discipleship, and this would be the deepest level. And what does that look like for us, Belly?
So the purpose of discipleship, it has some really funky Greek root. Why don't you go ahead and share what that means?
Huh?
I'm Hebrew, she's Greek.
So it means to be a learner. Mateos meaning to learn. And the idea of learning is with the whole discipleship thing is that you sit at the master's feet, at your teacher's feet, to become like your teacher, to reflect, to look like. So that there's, when you look at the teacher and you look at the student, more and more the student looks like the teacher. The student acts like the teacher. The student chooses, prioritizes. Everything becomes a reflection of the teacher. And so that's the idea that goes behind discipleship.
Which is crazy awesome. They would spend all their time together. They would emulate the walk, how they talked. Their goal was to be just like their teacher. And in this inner group, discipleship, we're going to put Peter, James, and John in this group. Peter, because he made it through all the hurdles. We start at the beginning with acquaintance, and Jesus, gave him all the fish, and he was like, what? And then he prioritized Jesus above his family, above his job, above everything, and so he moved into friendship. And Peter, James, and John, love them. But if we look at the transfiguration, they were not successes all the time, believe it or not. And they failed. But then they moved on. They stayed with Jesus. They kept chasing after him. They received forgiveness and moved on. And in this inner group, in this discipleship, our goal is to be just like Jesus, to emulate him. And this can be done in multitudinous ways. But I think one of the biggest ones is letting go of brokenness. And trust me, brokenness is comfortable. Some of the hurts that we have, scars and open scars, can be really comfortable to sit in. Oh, a fence, so easy to just sit in a fence. It is so comfortable. My brokenness, I know that I have messed up in my past here, and here, and I'm okay with that, and I'm just going to be okay with sitting in the past. But healing is so hard to let go of brokenness and to accept healing, but it's so important because on the other side, you get to be more like Jesus. Jesus is awesome. He is so cool. Jesus is my best friend. We're homies. We're together. We have so much fun. We just hang out. And when I was in high school, I had a teacher tell me that our job was to be the moon. And the moon has no light unless it reflects the sun. And so our job, if you want to write this down, is to be the moon. In discipleship, the goal is to be the moon. We have no light unless we reflect the sun. And I think that's beautiful because the moon is beautiful in itself. But when the light shines on it, you can see the cool little spots, the Sea of Tranquility, all the fun little flags that they put in or didn't, if you believe the conspiracy theory. It's okay. There's room for everyone at the table. But it's beautiful. Discipleship is beautiful because you're sacrificing yourself for Jesus. And that is really difficult. But it's such a beautiful, beautiful process to get from friendship to discipleship. And when you fail, to stick with Jesus and to say, I am the worst, and that's okay, because Jesus is the best, and my goal is to be like Jesus.
I think, too, Peter's a great example of that failure transition point, because he denies Jesus 3 times. He's out in the boat fishing, John 20:21. And he sees Jesus on the shore, and he jumps, after he's denied Jesus risen from the dead, he jumps in the water, swims to Jesus, and is like, not even my failure, not even all the mistakes I've made is going to keep me away from you. I want to be in front of you. I want to be with you. And I know Jesus always welcomes us, arms wide open. You don't see Jesus doing, shame on you. How come you didn't listen to me? I told you after 3 years, and you still didn't believe me. Jesus didn't do any of that stuff. He just said, do you love me? I think that's the pivot point, really, is that whole love thing. And I bring to your attention as well John, because I think John is a great example of that whole transition, acquaintance, friendship, and then discipleship. Because John, when you look at John, he wrote the second highest quantity of the New Testament. If you think about him, okay, we got Paul. Paul wrote all kinds of epistles, but John wrote the gospel, 3 epistles, 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, and he wrote the book of Revelation. And so when you look at him and you look at who he is and the disciple, he's got his own perspective, unique insight, wisdom, a reflection of Jesus. And it all revolves, for John, it all revolves around love, flat out. If you read 1 John, the epistle, it's just a flat out, full on, the reflection of love. And I think John is a super powerful example of what it looks like. And I want to leave you with this verse for you to consider. It's Galatians 4:19. And at the end of the verse it says, "Till Christ be formed in you." And as we're moving in these various, places and pieces in our relationship with Jesus, and I think, and when we do, sometimes we might be friends, and I said earlier, you might swing over to an acquaintance. Maybe we found that happening during all the Christmas festivities, holidays, or busy seasons. Or maybe you kind of moved from acquaintance. But ultimately, let's keep in mind, till Christ be formed in us. Till we reflect the S-O-N. Right? That's our whole objective.